From House Financial Services, Congressman Byron Donalds and former economic advisor to President Trump, Steve Moore. Great to have you both with us. Really appreciate your time tonight. Congressman, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Very simple question, simply put. Should members of Congress be banned from trading stocks since they are entitled to privileged information?
Individual stocks, absolutely. I think the one thing that people got to understand is that you have members like myself. I have an IRA back home where my investment manager team, they manage that money. I don't make the trades. I shouldn't be banned from doing that. Right. But making individual trades, yes, members should not be making individual trades. Their spouses, their next of kin shouldn't be doing it either. Okay, and Chip Roy was talking about addressing this problem specifically, saying that you can't, just avoid what's going on, Steve Moore. But Nancy Pelosi, who says she's a fighter for the people, she took this on. Listen to her response.
Madam Leader, I wanted to ask you why you and your husband back in March of 2008 accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa at a time there was major legislation affecting their credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make with that?
Should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress? No, I don't know to this second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock. But this is a free market and people, we are a free market economy.
Okay, so now, Steve, I want to put up a timeline of some of the trades that Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, did. And we are, Congressman, talking about individual stocks. We're not talking about mutual funds or IRA accounts or anything like that. And you can see that every time there was a big piece of legislation, Paul Pelosi capitalized it by trading stock. Steve.
Well, you might call that insider trading, right? Because this is basically using information that you know about these industries and what kind of regulations are coming along, and then basically trading on that. Now, I was surprised, Jackie, on that video that you showed, the first one you showed of Nancy Pelosi. That was back, I believe it was 2011. This has been 10
2008.
years. Why hasn't this been fixed? I mean, it's outrageous. There are conflicts of interest here, and I think the American people are going to demand that this practice end right now. It should have ended 10 years ago.
Yeah, and Congressman, if I can ask you, do you think her response was adequate? The screen that I wanted to put up didn't make it, but they profited, the Pelosi's, off of Tesla stock, Microsoft, before important legislation, NVIDIA, the chip maker as well. Do you think that her response was adequate under those circumstances?
No, I don't. Her response was garbage, hot garbage. Everybody knows that she was messing, her and her husband doing all kind of nefarious stuff. And look, this is the problem. If you had a member of Congress go buy stock in Apple when there was no business going on in Apple, I don't think, up here on Capitol Hill, mind you, right, I don't think that people would care. But this actually cuts to the core of credibility for members of Congress. And the person who's violated that more than anybody else is the former speaker. And I'll add this, if her name was Nancy Smith, she might have been brought up on insider trading charges. But because she was the Speaker of the House for such a long time, people looked the other way. No, her response was garbage. Everybody's sick of it, which is why we're having to do new legislation to get out from the shadow of her atrocities and things that her and her husband were doing.
Yeah, and just one final question, Steve. I want to come to you, not on stocks specifically, but on the Fed and everything that's going on right now. The White House has said that it won't intervene, but the Fed is, clearly under pressure to raise interest rates at this point. Your thoughts on what's going to happen? It's looking like it's going to be a rough ride for the rest of the year and possibly into next year.
Yeah, you better believe it. And what's interesting about this, Jackie, is that when you look at the massive spending, I'm glad Congressman Donalds is here because I know he believes this to be true. But the fact is that the reason we have this rising inflation is the out-of-control government spending of trillions and trillions of dollars. You can't keep running $1.5 trillion and $2 trillion deficits per year. And that's why, look, the Fed can't solve this problem itself. Congressman, you and your colleagues have to get rid of these massive deficits or we're going to have inflation like this for years to come.
Steve, I totally agree with you. Not only do we need to do that, I think one of the things the Fed can look at is the size of their balance sheet. I'm glad they're starting to shrink it. It needs to shrink more. But yes, Congress has to stop overspending.
Congressman Byron Donalds, Steve Moore, I thank you both so much. Thank you.